Good morning. I almost was going to do a video last night when I finished checking my emails and everything. It was right around 12:30, and no, I decided I would risk laying down and after a long day and getting some sleep before I'd get up and do my video. And exactly 3 hours after I laid down, and I probably fell asleep immediately, I woke up 3 hours to the minute, and I got to spend time in the meditation room as usual. And here I am doing my video. And after I finished writing the blurb for today, the title and the blurb, I went back and I read a piece that came last night that was put on my wall last night while I was while I was out celebrating by Nanari Diamond Lady, and I read it this morning, and I guess that's something that I have to mention also in today's talk. I didn't know that I was going to be doing that. That's something that's newly added within the past 20 minutes or so. Anyway, the title for today is Mardi Gras and Flying High. Last night I went to see my son's band at Murdoch's Bistro in Cocoa Village, where the annual Mardi Gras was happening. It was good to get away and fly high above the concerns of the day and past week. Flying high also refers to the message I got yesterday regarding the legal papers I have been creating in response to the court's challenge. I have been getting bogged down trying to defend against what they were saying. I was not feeling good. Around midday, I went into a meditation asking for more help, and yesterday's flying dream took on a different aspect. It was as if Spirit was telling me, look at it from the higher perspective you get when you are flying. I then realized I had to add a whole new element to the paperwork, seeing how to apply the One People's Public Trust. That is our higher road. And then I put in the link to that piece that I mentioned I just read, and I have to go back because I have as and it's supposed to be and. I didn't notice it when I read it after I typed it, but I've been focused mostly on what I read from the Diamond Lady. The Mardi Gras was what Mardi Gras, I guess, all over the world are. People with lights on their hats and all sorts of beads and sometimes bangles and all sorts of glitter and makeup and masks, and it's the Mardi Gras. And people were in and out of the bistro. Mardi Gras, actually, the central part of it was a block or so away from where the band was playing. It wasn't actually in the Mardi Gras center of the village, but just, as I said, 1 block south thereof. And people were coming in and out of the bistro from the Mardi Gras, decked out in all of their Mardi Gras finery. And the crowd was very fluid. The nucleus of the crowd stayed there the whole time, the friends of the band. But for the most part, the crowd was very transient, in and out. But it was a fun evening, even though one of the members of the Brevard Busking Coalition is in Africa on a mission of sorts, and the other 5 band members had to pick up some of his parts and some of the songs. And in fact, my son at one point was playing the bass guitar, sitting at his drum set, playing the bass guitar with his hands, and with his feet he was playing the bass drum and the hi-hat. So he had all things going, and I suggested that they put put a kazoo or something in his mouth so he could wouldn't waste anything. I mean, he might just as well play three instruments, right? But those guys are extremely versatile and extremely entertaining, and last night was no exception, even with Anthony being missed. As I said in the blurb, and as I've been indicating throughout the week, I believe, I've been working on the latest challenge by the court over my lawsuit, in which they're working very hard to try to find a reason to dismiss it without hearing it. And I've been having to do research and go back and read legal things and try to figure out a way to defend myself. And it was not feeling good. It was not feeling good. And when I went into the meditation in the middle of the day yesterday, noonish or so, the dream that I had had that morning came back to me, and I realized what Spirit was saying. Rise above it. Yes, the bridge is out. Yes, there are problems you're facing, but rise above and look at it from the higher perspective. And so when I came out of the meditation room, I immediately began adding another element to my paperwork called commentary, in which I talk about the One People's Public Trust and the fact that the corporations of the United States and all the government corporations and financial institutions around the world that have been robbing the people are foreclosed upon in the One People's Public Trust, and making the court, I also mentioned it in my previous documentation, but this time I'm mentioning it a little bit more, and laying the foundation from the higher fifth dimensional plane, because the One People's Public Trust is fifth dimensional paperwork. It's here in the third dimension, as we are that are moving to the fifth dimension. We're sometimes at the fifth dimension, sometimes at the third dimension, because this is the time between times. It's still the bridge. We're still on the threshold of what's coming, but there's still parts of the past that are still lingering and overlapping. So these energies are overlapping. And I was much, much more encouraged, and I felt so much better when I started being the plaintiff and challenging the court. Instead of just responding to their challenge and playing defense, it's not that I was being offensive, because I don't believe in being offensive either. Although sometimes people that aren't hearing what I'm saying might take it that way. I'm not meaning it to anything ever to be offensive. And it's interesting. My son's girlfriend mentioned to me last night that she's a very private person. If Tommy ever talked about some of the things that were happening in their relationship and made it public to everybody, she'd kill him. That's the word that she used. She says, because I'm a very private person. And anyway, she was referring, I didn't gain specifics as to what exactly she was talking about, but I have been talking about things in my relationship, and I know that might make people uncomfortable. Probably has. In any case, that's not where I intended to go today until I read Diamond Lady's edition, and her thing is Spiritual Understanding and Love, Love's View, the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine Valentine's Wish to Change the World. And the second part of it, she just simply includes the poem or the writing that was that I posted. Was it yesterday I posted it, or was it the day before yesterday? I can't remember. Whenever it was, I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, I guess it was yesterday that I posted that in that video for that day. But I want to read at least some of the opening lines that Ninari sent me. And she said, let me think. Let me go back to the page here. Because I guess I got to do it on this computer because I don't want to take that off. Yeah, she said, For you, dearest Ron Van Dyke, and for all, and then a heart, love. So anyway, it's for me, but it's for all of us. And that's what I've been wanting to get people to see. That what I'm sharing vis-a-vis relationships, it's not about personality. It's not about even me, as I said yesterday. It's not about any of the other players in my drama. It's not about individuals. It's about the higher realization that we are transpersonal. I am just another you. You are just another me. And Lakesh, namaste. We are simply parts of a higher soul, a greater reality. We are spirits having a human experience, and we get lost in the drama of personality instead of allowing ourselves to rise higher and to fly above the fray and the drama and all of the misunderstandings and all of the need for defense. We recognize, hey, this is just another part of me expressing itself. And we don't want to give it expression because sometimes it hurts. And that's what I've been experiencing with the challenge in the court. And let me just open that put that document back up on the screen again. Here's what I opened the commentary with. Before I read from Diamond Lady, let me read the beginning of the commentary that I added, that Spirit had me add. And I wrote, the perceived willingness and predilection of this and other courts to throw out a case involving substantive rights guaranteed by the United States and individual state constitutions for technical reasons never ceases to amaze me in my dealings with the court system since 2005. This in and of itself is a violation of the God-given rights of the people as immortalized in our esteemed Constitution, to which every one of the officers of those judicial institutions are required by law to swear an oath of allegiance to uphold and defend. Many of those oaths that I have viewed personally add the words "and government" after Constitution. This is an improper oath, making all that have taken it impostors guilty of breach of trust and treason. The Constitution stands over and limits government. They are not co-equal, and we the people are over the Constitution. Both the Constitution and government are created by man and cannot therefore be man's master. I'm not going to read any more from that, but I do want to read, as I said, and forgive me for jumping back and forth, but Spirit put this in front of me, and I want to share it with you so that you can hear the message in your heart, in your soul, and apply it however you choose to apply it in your life. And I don't know if Nanari wrote this or if she's just sharing something that someone else wrote. I'm really not clear on that. But what is written is, if you want to change the world, love a woman. Really love her. Find the one who calls to your soul, who doesn't make sense. Throw away your checklist and put your ear to her heart and listen. Hear the names, the prayers, the songs of every living thing, every winged one, every furry and scaled one, every underground and underwater one, every green and flowering one, every not yet born and dying one. Hear their melancholy praises back to the one who gave them life. If you haven't heard your own name yet, you haven't listened long enough. If your eyes aren't filled with tears, you aren't bowing at her feet. You haven't ever grieved, having almost lost her. If you want to change the world, love a woman, one woman, beyond yourself, beyond desire and reason, beyond your male preferences for youth, beauty, and variety, and all your superficial concepts of freedom. We have given ourselves so many choices. We have forgotten that true liberation comes from standing in the middle of the soul's fire and burning through our resistance to love. There is only one goddess. Look into her eyes and see, really see. If she is the one to bring the axe to your head, if she is the one to bring the axe to your head, then she is the one. If not, walk away right now. Don't waste time trying. Know that your decision has nothing to do with her, because ultimately, it's not with who, but when we choose to surrender. And I put the link, as I said, to the rest of that so that you that want to read it can read more of it. But I agree, Ninari, that our Valentine's wish to change the world comes from celebrating the Mardi Gras and from flying high and from looking into each other's eyes and seeing the heart and seeing the soul of compassion, of wisdom, seeing the pain and the hurt that we've all experienced in our human dramas. It's about healing. It's about healing the divine masculine and the divine feminine and celebrating life in a new way, creating fifth dimensional, new paradigm relationships that start wherever the people are, wherever we the people are. They start there, but they rise higher and go deeper and higher and broader than we've ever experienced before. We're creating a new reality. Thank you for listening and for listening to your own heart. Thank you for that too. May you be blessed today and in all days that follow. Namaste.